Good day to you and your lot. They call me Assassin Beamish, and it has been a while, hasn't it? Has been a while. By a while, I mean a couple weeks since I last reacted to something. Hopefully, you know, since I've been sort of keeping up with the videos, you should not feel like that much time, but hey, it is what it is. These goddamn linemen every single time. Okay, now, as I have mentioned before, as of late, you know, the last couple of years, I don't really like to watch movie trailers before the movie comes out. It feels like I have better chances of the movie actually making a good impression on me, or impressing me at the very least, you know, throwing something at me that I wasn't expecting if I don't watch the trailer. Because, you know, nowadays trailers, they just show you the whole movie sometimes, or at the very least they show you parts of the movie that would be a lot more impactful if you didn't see them coming. Sort of like trailers for The Dark Knight Rises putting the baseball, no, the football field exploding scene in the trailer, or the bridges that connect Gotham City with the mainland, the falling. Like, why would you do that? Those were probably two most impressive parts of the whole fucking movie, and I mean, you know, also there's the airplane scene, which I think they also put in the trailers, or at least in a couple of them. So, yeah, man, why would you do that, right? Leaving that aside for a moment, the reality is that if I want to properly make a reaction channel, or at least make a few reaction videos, which, since right now I'm struggling a little bit with writer's block to come up with other video ideas, it's probably what I'm going to be doing for a while. I've also been taking a lot of time to properly learn how to draw. I've been trying to learn how to draw, so there's also that. Anyway, the point is, what to react to is the question. I've been wanting to react to a movie at least, but that's still a little bit far away from me, but I'm going to get there eventually. So I thought to myself, you know what? The movie, the Sopranos film made by David Chase, the guy who made the original show, The Many Saints of Newark, is about to come out. And I thought to myself, you know what? That movie actually, I'm interested in watching it. Even though the original show, I think I've only seen the first 2 seasons completely. The rest of it, I've seen bits of it. But I know all the important parts because of all the clips in YouTube, so, you know, I'm no stranger to Sopranos lore, basically, is what I'm saying. I should definitely one day sit down and actually finish watching the series, but I'm no stranger to the lore and to what happens, you know, all the important events. So I was thinking to myself, you know what, I kind of want to see this movie. The thing is that I'm not sure when it's going to come out in here, where I am, because I think it actually just came out recently in the States, but man, it seems like it's not going to be coming out soon anytime soon in here. So I thought to myself, you know what, F it, let's just react to the trailers, am I right? Let's just watch them. Or rather, I thought to myself, let's watch the trailers, but let's make a reaction video out of it, right? Yes, I have my rocket shirt today that I just am starting to realize it's kind of scratching some bits. Anyway, let's just do what we usually do and react to this thing, right? Go.
When I was a kid, guys like me were brought up to follow codes.
Hey,
that's James Gandolfini's voice. And that's his son, of course.
What'd you say? What?
Antonio Soprano.
Antonio Soprano.
I wonder if I can talk to you.
What is this music?
For a moment, Mrs. Soprano.
Is that Libya?
On the basis of the Sanford Binet, he's high IQ.
You can't prove it by me. He's got a D+ average.
Well, he doesn't apply.
Tony really did marry his own mother, didn't he?
The results tell us. He's a leader.
Hey!
Uncle Dick.
Dicky Moltisanti.
Growing up with the family
Played by Alessandro Nivola, if I'm not mistaken. Ooh.
takes a toll.
Maybe an ambassador to England or France.
You're my nephew.
Might like to gamble.
I want to do whatever I can to help you.
You may be a businessman.
My gift to you.
Degree thief.
I want to go to college. I can't get caught with shit like this.
Look, you take the speakers, right? At the same time, you say to yourself, this is the last time I'm ever gonna steal something. It's that simple.
Let me go talk to him.
He only listens to Dickie.
Is that supposed to be Junior?
Gotta do something about Dickie Malasani.
And someone.
Things you do are God's favorite.
Was that supposed to be Sylvia?
We'll make the right decision. This kid's got what it takes.
As far as your nephew goes,
I'm listening.
stay out of his life.
Re idiota. So this morning, got myself a gun. I don't know if I said it properly. Woke up this morning, got myself a gun. Got yourself, I don't remember. Okay, so that was trailer number 1. Alright. Okay, alright. Let me take this off for a second. Okay, trailer number 1. Alright. That is impressive. That is impressive. Maybe it's because I wasn't paying as much attention as I would like to, because again, I'm trying to react here. But that didn't look like it was revealing an awful lot of the movie, man. I actually feel like it left just enough of the context of what was going on out, so that I'm actually still not entirely sure what was going on in each scene, but I still get a feel of what the movie is supposed to be about. It's about Dicky Moltisanti. Mind you, I have not read anything about the film so far. Only a few of the cast members, and in general, I know that it's it takes place in the 60s. It's the prequel to The Sopranos. But other than that, don't really know anything. Based from the trailer, so apparently Dicky Moltisanti, who we know from the show that Tony idolizes, like almost like he was this, huge mafia. I'm sorry, the trailer's still playing. This huge mafia sort of like, titan, tycoon, this big shot, this idol of him. I just said idolizes, of course, fuck it. Anyway, this big figure for him, this big influential figure for him. We're seeing here that apparently he's indeed going to try to get him. He's going to give him his start, in this life. Which, just watching the interaction between the two of them, you can tell that it's basically, maybe not the exact same, but very similar to the dynamic that Tony has with Christopher in the show, which is, particularly ironic or even somewhat sick when you realize that, you know how Tony and Christopher end. And, Chris is, of course, Dicky Moltisanti's son. Yes, seeing that Tony tried to carry the same dynamic, except that, of course, Dicky got killed when Tony was still very young, from what I understand. I think Christopher wasn't even born yet. And so, yeah, he's not going to have this chance to kill Tony the way Tony kills Chris. I'm sorry if you have not seen the show. Where the fuck am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is that I can see that already. There's a certain dynamic here that's going to be playing. I think I read somewhere, the only other thing from, apart from the trailers, from the general information that I read, I think either David Chase or someone involved in the production has already stated very clearly that this is not going to be exactly like The Sopranos, just on, the same style. And honestly, I think that would be for the better, because otherwise it's just going to feel like a lot of people are afraid of just like a long Sopranos episode. Because each episode was already like an hour long, right? So, if the movie's about 2 hours long, maybe a little more, it's still going to feel like just two particularly long episodes smashed together. So yeah, it would make sense for them to give it another try of angle, another try of style. And just watching from this, I can already tell this is a cinematographic style. The Sopranos was already a very cinematographic show. Don't get me wrong. But it was clearly still a TV show, you know what I mean? It was clearly still made in that with that mindset of making a TV show. It still took place in that sort of dimension, in that sort of in that sort of universe. It still was made obviously clearly to be a TV show. This is obviously clearly made to be a movie, just based on some of the stuff that I can see. Just notice right now that was Johnny Boy, Tony's father. I think who is he played by in this movie? because John Brenton is Uncle June, supposedly, right? I think, I don't know. Anyway, the point is, yeah, that was totally a young Silvio. Yeah, because if memory serves, Tony and Silvio, just like Jackie Aprile Sr., go way back, right? So, anyway, the point is, oh yeah, that's five. Those are 5 kids, you know, Tony and other 4 guys. So I'm going to guess one of them is Jackie, and another one should be Silvio. Maybe one of them. I think Ralphie mentioned that he was also part of like a little crew that they had going on. Anyway, oh shit, I just read the names of the people involved. I don't know. And the point is, it's looking good. Let me, tell you what. Let me react to the second trailer so that I can form a better picture of what I can expect from this film. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Pull me? Freaking Silvio. I don't know if I should make a video on The Irishman, because quite frankly, I feel like I don't have that much to say about the movie. Or maybe I do. Maybe I should make a video. But let me just say this in case I never make a video about The Irishman. I watched it recently. I'm a bit behind on my Netflix watching, which is a good thing, I'd say. Anyway, I just recently watched The Irishman for the first time. And let me just say this. Al Pacino, I feel, is one of his best performances in years. Because as a lot of people probably have realized, Al has not had a good last couple of decades. Like the 90s, he still was doing alright. I'm not even saying that he has not been successful. Let me take this off. I'm saying that his quality as an actor has gone down quite a bit, as his persona, this persona that he seems to have nowadays in every single one of his movies, and a lot of times even outside of these films, it's just too much Al Pacino. It's like, my dad always complains that about The Departed, another Scorsese film, that he feels like Jack Nicholson either should have been more controlled by Scorsese, his performance should have been a little bit more controlled, or maybe he should have just been, somebody else should have been cast as Frank Costello, because it's too Jack Nicholson, it's too clear, it's just Jack Nicholson playing another gangster, or in this case an Irish gangster, so it's a bit distracting at times, and I have to agree with him on a fundamental level that at no point in the movie do I think that that's any other guy or that it's anyone other than Jack Nicholson. So yeah, I can see that. Everyone else in the cast is almost perfect, even though we all know who Leo DiCaprio is, and we all know who Matt Damon is, and we all know who Mark Wahlberg is. We all know who these people are, and still you watch them in the movie and they honestly feel like other people, and this is what acting is supposed to be. This is what good acting is supposed to be, where you generally at a few moments at the time forget that you're watching a movie, or in this case an actor that playing a character, and you're like, this is the character, the character is who I'm watching right now, not the actor. And Jack Nicholson never feels like that through the whole movie. So yeah, I have to agree with that on a fundamental level there. And the same, I would say from about Al Pacino in many of his movies ever since, God. I think Simone is honestly one of the last films that I remember watching and thinking, okay, I still buy that this is another person, not Al Pacino. But then everything after that, for a long time, he was just Al Pacino playing another role. Then I watched The Irishman, and I thought to myself, okay, you know what? I like this. He honestly feels like somebody else. It's still clearly Pacino, or a very Pacino way of playing the character, but it's just separate enough that I can actually view that a few moments like, oh, this is Jimmy Hoffa, not Al Pacino. This is Jimmy Hoffa. Okay, awesome. Why am I mentioning all this? Because throughout the first half of the movie, there were basically every time that I was talking, and specifically every time that he was on a rally in front of all the other Teamsters, the other union people, every time he was doing a speech, all I could think of was Silvio Dante's impression of Al Pacino. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Or trying me, he's yet to reveal himself. I love those things in the show. What was the other one that he did one time? Okay, use this one time. And then you ask me about my affairs. I cannot make the voice. Is it true, Michael? No. You fucking skippos! It's a great fucking show, man. It's a great show. Okay. Now I'm choking up a little. The point is, every time I was watching the fucking Irishman Pacino doing his thing, all I could think was, he honestly, there were moments where he sounded so much like Silvio Dante's impression of Pacino. It was so fucking weird. It's the moment where the real guy, the OG, becomes the fucking parody. I don't know, man. It's kind of sad even, to a degree, but hey, it is what it is. Anyway, the point is, yes, that's what I was thinking about right now as I was about to watch the clip. I was remembering Silvio Dante's impression of Pacino, and that got me thinking. Anyway, let's fucking react to the second trailer. Nice. Okay.
What do you want, Richard?
I'll be honest with you.
Okay. Richard.
Good deed.
Okay. Father. Okay.
I want to do a lot more.
He's getting greedy or
I'm
ambitious?
setting an example for my nephew.
Them to the birds and bees.
Anthony got kicked out of school. I went through all that trouble, and for what?
I'm always being accused.
You gotta be good.
That's what I want.
I want to do whatever I can to help the family.
Money don't get everything, it's true. What it don't get, I can't use. I want money.
Wonder what they talk about in that.
I didn't catch the name.
Pussy. Put him on the table. I think I just got this jacket.
Big pussy, buen pensiero.
You know, I try so hard.
Oh, that was totally Silvio. That fucking hairdo. Every family.
What a blow.
I know you can get
This is-
anything.
Look at Dickie Montesanti. He steps up, takes care of his family, takes care of all the bases.
If anybody tells anybody about this,
How you doing on your merit badges?
I want to do all kinds of good things.
It's the wanting. Pain comes from always wanting things. What do I know? I'm a murderer.
The best things in life are free.
Got myself a son.
hi Christopher, hello.
Okay, all right.
It's like a scam or something.
Some babies, when they come into the world, know all kinds of things from the other side.
That's what I want.
Christopher already. Recently, I was reading in one of the comment sections or one of the videos of The Sopranos that the show, I think, was when Tony was in a coma, that he was sort of in between life and death. Like he pretty much was about to go to hell, except Meadow. Fuck, how do you pronounce the name again? Meadow. Anyway, she sort of called him out of the coma by calling his name, Daddy or whatever. Anyway, someone was mentioning how The Sopranos has a lot of paranormal shit going on when you think about it. And as someone who, again, has not watched the show completely but has seen several clips, I guess I'm missing still several parts to fully understand the context behind that statement, but the parts that I do remember, like the fact that Tony was clearly, like, actually being called somewhere, or that guy, that sort of like medium guy that Paulie goes to see, and that this guy clearly knows some shit about Paulie that nobody has any way of knowing unless they're actually talking to dead people. The point is that, the cat that at the end of the show is staring at Christopher's picture, and everyone has a different opinion on what the cat is or who it is. A lot of people say that it's a reincarnation of one of the other characters. Amongst all the stuff that happens, there's clearly some paranormal shit going on in the show, so and a lot of great foreshadowing, sometimes seasons in advance. David Chase clearly knew how he wanted his story to play from day one, which is, I think, a smart thing to do if you're going to create a whole story. Anyway, a long story. Baby Christopher already knowing that in 30 odd years later, he's going to get killed by that guy, by Tony Soprano. That's fucked up, man. That's disturbing, honestly. That is generally fucking creepy. And that's kind of what I was fearing about watching this movie and about watching the trailers. Like, Oh god, you just know that they're not going to be able to resist putting. I was thinking to myself, they're not going to be able to resist putting at least a couple scenes between baby Christopher and Tony. And we all know how that ends. We all know how fucking horrible and dysfunctional that relationship is, and we all know how it ends. So it's like, Jesus Christ, man, you're literally watching a fucking teenager who is still very much, in time to save his soul. And this baby, and you know that 30 years or so into the future, they're going to... It's a fucking horrifying thing when you think about it properly. Oh yes, that's definitely fucking Sylvia, man. That hairdo. I have not... If he has been in the trailers, I honestly have not noticed because I am not that smart. But I'm seriously hoping that Paulie makes an appearance. I mean, he has to, right? He was already around when Johnny Boy was around. And if freaking Pussy Von Pensier is already there, Paulie must also be there somewhere. I think, yeah, Tony mentioned that he was a kid. His father used to threaten him with calling Paulie, so Paulie must already be somewhere around there. I just kind of recognize him. I guess I'm lacking some context, or maybe it's just not that obvious. The point is, a part of me is kind of excited about the notion of watching a younger Paulie, just to see if he always was this fucking dunce. And what else? A lot of people, mention in clips all over the internet for the show that they're excited about seeing how many throwbacks to the old school guys we can catch in this film. Like, is Fish La Mama going to be there? Like, La Mama? I don't remember his name. Is Fish going to be there? Are we going to catch maybe a glimpse of what New York was at the time? Like a younger Carmine, or even freaking Phil Lothardo? Because if this takes place in the 60s and Phil did 20 years, he was released in 2004, that's 84. So yeah, he's totally somewhere around there, right? Must, anyway. A lot of people also were talking about those three creepy dudes. What were the names? Lou DiMaggio? No, I don't know. Those three creepy guys who appear in one episode. One of them is blind when they're putting a hit on Johnny Sack. And Uncle June is the one who recommends them to Tony. And anyway. Or maybe even a younger Robert Bacall Sr. All of that shit, All the old school guys, all the, freaking legends. The legendary characters of The Sopranos, these guys who had, they were larger-than-life personalities or characters in this universe. It would be cool to watch them, to see them appear. I definitely would love to see at least a fucking reference to a few of them. But hey, let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens. From what I can see in the trailers in both of them, for me to say that Scorsese's influence can be felt through them would be not only... It would be obvious and stupid, honestly, because The Sopranos already, as a show in general, carried so much freaking Scorsese vibes in them. The whole notion of the blue-collar gangsters, these criminals. So the movie, of course, is carrying that. However, the main difference is that The Sopranos, like I mentioned already, also had the quality of a TV show, and it was even more grounded in reality. I feel that even some Scorsese films, that's debatable, probably. I mean, Goodfellas is pretty fucking real, in the sense that it shows these guys at their best and at their freaking worst, So, I feel like The Sopranos also did that, and it feels like this movie is also going to do that. Just again, in a different way, in a different sort of way. That's right, Alan Taylor is directing this. Who's Alan Taylor? I've seen that name before. I have to check that out later. He scripted Jurassic Park 3, didn't he? Maybe it wasn't him. Check it out later. The point is, this trailer looks sick, man. It looks really good. Again, maybe I was just a little distracted while watching them, but again, I still feel like there's just enough about what's really going to happen in this movie hidden that I'm going to still be somewhat surprised when I watch it. Hopefully when it comes out in theaters. At worst, if it never comes out or it comes out too late, maybe I'm just going to watch it online or something, unfortunately. But hey, let's see what happens, right? I'm definitely going to try and talk about it once I actually watch it. But so far it looks good. It's going to be a hard movie to judge properly, for me to criticize properly, in two senses. Number one is, of course, it's impossible not to compare it to the show, right? But we already established that it's not going to be even that similar in many ways, so I want to try to level my expectations on that one. The other thing that is going to be a bit more complex to properly judge for me would be comparing the portrait by Michael Gandolfini, that was his name, right? Michael Gandolfini as Tony Soprano to his father's portrait of the character. Because they're just not the same actor, you know. They're not the same actor. Even if Michael is a gifted actor, and I honestly don't know, I haven't seen anything with him before this. Even if he's truly a gifted actor, even as gifted as his dad, there's bound to be a few differences in their style and the way they do it. Which in a way is good, because the character is not even exactly the same. Tony Soprano in his 30s, you know, at the beginning of the show, is not the same guy as when he was a teenager. A lot of shit has going on in his life, and he's turned slowly but surely for the worse. Everyone always talk about how in the first season he was already a fucking psychotic gangster and whatnot, but, you know, he could have still been redeemed if he had made a few better choices with his life at that point. But he didn't, and by the end of the show, he's just a completely despicable human being. He's basically his mom. So I'm guessing that the difference between young Tony and older Tony is also bound to be there. So my guess would be that even though we clearly see him, you know, already joining the gangster lifestyle, you know, already starting to beat people up and do petty crimes here and there, probably slowly growing up in crime, I'm honestly hoping that we see, like, the probably tamest, most gentle version of Tony Soprano on screen in here. Because, you know, again, considering that at the beginning of the show, he was already pretty easy, you know, the trigger easy to snap at people. Literally, the first episode, it's, you know, there's a scene that probably the most memorable scene is him very joyfully chasing a guy in a car and running him over. So, you know, he's already pretty much a son of a bitch in there, but apparently it took a long time talking about, yeah, because my camera can only record in 30-minute intervals, so, yeah, it stopped recording without me realizing. So I have no fucking clue how much I said. Well, it was not recording. Jesus Christ. It's the second time this happens to me, man. It's the second time. The previous time was on my video about the Suicide Squad movie, talking about it. You might, if you've seen that video, you know what I'm talking about. Oh god. I have no fucking clue what I just said, basically. The last thing that I checked out the recording just to be sure. The last thing that I did mention that is recorded is me talking about the first episode of The Sopranos and how Tony was already a son of a bitch at the time. And hopefully we see the tamest version of Soprano in here of Tony. It's going to be hard for everyone involved, because a lot of them are playing beloved characters from general culture, in this case from television. In many ways, Alessandro Nivola is going to have it the easiest, because we never seen anything about Dicky Moltisanti, so this should be a fun experience. Let's see how this turns out, okay? Let's see how this turns out. And I have already a few ideas for some other videos that I want to upload. I'm just going to finish with the last thing I said before checking the recording. I have a few ideas for videos in the future that I have not been in much disposition of doing in the so far. I have about 3 video ideas. I'm going to explore them. One of them that just literally came to me while I was talking about this is talking about TV shows that I have actually seen, which is going to be a short video, considering that I've probably seen more animes, more full animes that I've seen full TV shows, either Western or otherwise, and I have not seen that many animes. I have literally not seen any anime in like 2 years now. So let's see what happens. I'm mostly a movie watching guy, or even reading comics, reading books, not showing off or anything. I have not read that many books either. But the point is, let's see what happens. I'm pretty excited about this film. And, once I actually properly watch it, I might be making a video about it, or maybe not. Who the fuck knows? Let's see what happens. That is not only my motto in life, but I feel like it's the motto of every Mexican person in life. It's, you cross yourself and you say, let's hope for the best, let's see what happens. And you go forward, man. You go forward. Have a good one, my brethren. I'll be catching you on the flip side. Se cuidan. Yay. I don't know if you can actually see the wall in there. I'm going to be uploading a picture soon enough, but there, man, I told you, I've been practicing my drawing. This is the first a sketch of an actual live-action living person that I made that I'm not completely ashamed of. It's Philly Tardum. Oh boy. I'm going to be uploading a proper picture of it soon in some of my media. And maybe try to link it to... Is there even a group for Soprano fans, like, on Twitter or something? I don't know. Maybe on Reddit. I'll look it up on Reddit.